evening, everybody, and welcome to Transparent Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a blessed and prosperous week. Um, I'm super excited about this Transparent Tuesday. Um, Tell the truth and shame the devil. Very, very much important. But I do have an announcement that I want to make. After tonight, I will not be doing another Transparent Tuesday until March. I am going off of social media for a while. I have some things that I need to focus on. As I always tell you guys when I come on here, I never want to upset God. I never want to speak out of turn. I never want to say anything that I have not experienced, that I haven't dealt with, or I don't know anything about. And one thing is when you pour out to people, you need poured back in. You know, it's a lot of things going on in the world right now. And it's time to spend more time with God and less on social media. So I am kind of like shutting my household down. My kids aren't going to have their games if it's not school or the ones that have activities. We're going to be at home. We need to shift our focus. And when March comes, I will be doing Transparent Tuesday. Let me look on the calendar so I can let you guys know that date. The first Tuesday in March is March 2nd. So I will be back on March 2nd for Transparent Tuesday. Tonight, tell the truth and shame the devil. So I'm not going to say we, but I battle with secret sin. And when I say secret sin, I mean the things that I battle with when no one is around me and it's just me and the four walls and nobody knows anything about it. But I try to help other people and I try my best to share my testimony because I really truly believe that everybody's testimony holds healing. But I've realized, and it was confirmed to me today, I can only help others so much until I have actually helped and healed myself and in the healing process. And when I say tell the truth and shame the devil, I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. If we don't be honest within ourselves and say, you know what, this is something that I'm battling with, this is a sin, God help me with it. How can we heal from it? How can we can pray and we can fast, but if we're not honest with ourselves, first of all, then there's no healing. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to let yourself know that there's a problem. So, as you guys know, I didn't grow up with my parents. I was a foster kid until I believe it was 16 when I first met my dad. I always knew my mom. I got taken from her when I was 7. And I went from group homes to foster homes, and I even stayed in a few mental hospitals. Well, the very first group home that I lived in, I was molested by a girl. She was washing my hair and she put her hands in my shirt and she put her hands in my pants, and I knew it was wrong. But I didn't say anything and I didn't tell anybody because I was ashamed that it happened. And I was ashamed because it felt good, but I knew it was wrong. And I was ashamed. So I never told anybody. And then when I left that group home, I went to a foster home and I went to her house and she braided my hair and it happened again. But it was more than just her hands being put places this time around. Her mouth was actually on me this time. And I've never been with a girl, I guess, except for that experience. I don't even know how to call it. I told her I didn't like it. I didn't say no. But after the fact, like I told my foster parents, I can never go over there to get my hair done. It's me and her don't get along anymore. We're not friends. It's not okay. I've never really spoken about this to anybody because of the shamefulness. I've never been in a relationship with a girl. I do not feel comfortable with women being too close to me. I do not even like a woman as a gynecologist or a doctor. It has to be a man because I just get reminded of that. But because of that experience, I secretly battle with watching lesbian porn. I haven't done it it's been a long time, but it's a secret battle. that I battle with. Like I pray and I ask God to help me. I don't want to be this way. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to look at this. I want this perversion spirit off of me. But it's something that's a secret sin. My husband doesn't even know. My ex-husband didn't even know. But I battle with it within myself. Like when I pray, I ask God to heal me, heal my heart. Why did it feel good? Why did it leave this lasting effect? And then, later on in life, I was raped by a man and it didn't leave the same effect. So I don't understand. I didn't get it. My mother has been in bisexual relationships. I know people that have been in them, but I don't judge. I don't agree with it. I myself would not take part in that, but I do not judge other people for their sins. No sin is greater than the other. But I feel like right now we don't have time to play. God is coming. I mean, our president on his first day in office passed all of these legislations about transgenders. I'm not okay with the fact that a boy can put on a wig and go in the girl's bathroom. And I have daughters. I have my biological daughter. In my current marriage, I have 2 bonus daughters. In my previous marriage, I have 3 bonus daughters. I'm not okay with that. It's very scary. And I pray for our president. I pray for the House in general. I pray for the high desert. These are the things that I pray about. But I have been doing a lot of self-examination. And one of the things that I realized is I have to be honest with myself with what I battle with in order to heal. Like they always say, that's the first step, is admitting that you have a problem. And then I have to work on myself, my household. And it's a process. I know it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I know that it's going to take prayer and fasting, but I also know that my household has to be in order. I have to be in order. When God comes back, it's going to be me and him. And I can't sit there and say, God, I prayed for people. God, people were healed by my testimony. I, let the homeless stay with me, or I donated money, or I donated food stamps, or I did all these wonderful things. But on the inside, I was still jacked up and I didn't admit it to myself and I didn't ask you for help. So we have to be honest and we have to be truthful within ourselves. I mean, I understand if it's not something that you feel comfortable with sharing anyone else. This Transparent Tuesday, I think, is the most transparent that I've ever been with you guys. And it's a little difficult because putting these things into words, I didn't put it in my book. And, I got put like 75% of everything in there. But this was like I said, a secret battle. But this is not something that I'm going to continue to allow the enemy to torment me with, or my mind. And I want to please my Father. And with that being said, this sin has to go. I mean, I know it's a battle. I know that it's not going to just like snap my fingers and go away. But I'm not going to hide it any longer. It's not going to be a secret. The enemy is not going to continue to be able to torment me. I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to continue to pray and to fast and ask God to get this perversion spirit off of me. I'm not a victim. It happened by a woman and a man in my life, but I'm not a victim from it. And I'm not going to allow it to torment me or to tear me up, or for it to allow me to watch something that's not okay. It's not okay to watch porn. It's a sin. And I battle. I pray, God, don't allow this. Don't let me have this like need that I want to do this. Don't, like, anytime I want to do it, let me feel sick or something. I don't know. I just don't want to be that way. I pray that, like I said, my mother was in relationships and people around me have been in relationships, and I don't judge, but it's not something that I want to boil over on me. I don't want it to boil over on my children. I mean, I have 8 sons and, a daughter. So that's my secret sin that I battle with. But it's a battle. I pray about it. My mental is a constant battle, which, I have shared that with you guys. That's not a secret. But I'm focusing on purging myself, asking God to purge me so I can be right. Because my thing is, I just want to help. I've been through so many things in my life, a lot of things that I haven't even shared. And I know that my testimony, along with others' testimonies, has healing in it. But I also feel like there are places in me, my heart, my soul, my spirit that still needs healing. So I need to be honest about that. I need to focus on that. I need to pull those things out of the closet in therapy and in prayer and let God have his perfect work. So I believe, and I always say if I'm wrong, God, please correct me. There is no sin greater than the other. We do not know what anybody battles behind closed doors when it's just them and the four walls. I also believe that in order to get healing, you have to be honest with yourself and want healing, want to overcome, want to be delivered. Because if you don't want to be, it's not, I don't believe that it's going to happen. I mean, God doesn't force us. I mean, I think that he puts us in situations to where it's like, okay, get it together, or I'm going to take my glory from you. But I still don't see that as a force, because you still have a choice. He gives us free will and he gives us a choice. We choose to follow him and to do the right things and to accept healing and accept the fact that we're a target now because we're trying to do the right thing. Or we can choose to still be in the world. I've lived in the world long enough. I've dealt with the consequences of living in the world. I've dealt with the abundant life that God says that you get. He gave us life and to have it more abundantly. I'm sorry, I'm all discombobulated. Just talking about this makes me uneasy, like I have chills right now. But we have choices. And if you're going to choose to follow Christ and to live his way, it has to be 100%. We can't halfway do it. We can't sit around and act like we're perfect. I tell you guys all the time, I'm not perfect in any kind of way. I try to be better today than I was yesterday, and tomorrow I'm going to try to be better than today. But that doesn't make me perfect. That doesn't mean that I don't slip. Thank God doesn't allow me to stay down for long, but I do slip. I do fall sometimes, right on my face. And anybody that knows me know I'm hard-headed, and God got to make it plain and clear for me to understand. But one thing I know is that I refuse to live my life without him. Another thing that I know is I refuse for my children to live their life without him. So the first step for me is to be honest with myself and to get healing, to pray about it, to fast about it, and to move forward. I'm not going to be stuck in it. I'm not going to allow myself to be tormented anymore. I am going to focus on Francis. I try to help others. I try to share my testimony with others so they know that if God can do it for me, he can do it for them. But at the end of the day, Francis still has to make sure that she's right. Francis has to make sure that she's living according to Christ, that she's doing what God is asking her to do. And I think that sometimes I get so distracted in school and being a wife and being a mother and like doing Transparent Tuesday and the book. And now my book is being turned into a movie. And I pray and I read my Bible. But when do I just soak in him? When do I just say, you know what, Lord, I haven't arrived. I have this secret battles. I battle just battling because I'm trying to do right by you. So I'm just going to soak. Like, I'm going to go in my prayer closet and I'm just going to sit here and it's going to be me and it's going to be you. I'm not going to ask you for nothing. I'm just going to sit in your presence and I'm not going to move. Those are the times that we're living in right now. We need to be so in tune with God that we can see the attacks before they come. We see what the enemy doesn't want us to see. I believe that 2020 caught a lot of people off guard. So many people, especially in the body of Christ. And how can we say that we're Christians and, I don't have a title. I'm not looking for one. I'm just, God wants me to share my testimony. That's what I'm doing. He wanted Transparent Tuesday. That's what I'm doing. But how can I do all of these things, but I missed that? I didn't see that coming. That shows that I'm not in tune with him the way that I'm supposed to be. And that needs to be fixed. So start with being honest with yourself. Some things are not easy to be honest about. Some things are, you're ashamed of and you're embarrassed. I get it. It happens. But at the end of the day, God sees everything and he knows everything. We can't heal and we can't move forward if we don't deal with it and be honest with ourselves. Okay, it happened. Now what? One thing that the enemy loves to do is to use your past against you, especially if you haven't healed from it and if you're not being truthful with yourself. So if you're being truthful with yourself and you're in the process of healing, how can he use it against you? I'm always quick to say, I will tell on myself. I don't need nobody to tell on me. All the things that I've been through, the mistakes that I have made, I have no problem telling on Francis. I don't need anybody to tell on Francis. But the enemy can use the things that I'm not talking about, the secret things that I'm battling with, if I'm not even being honest with myself. I don't have to tell anybody, but at least be honest with myself and be honest with God. That's what matters. That's how the healing comes in. That's how the deliverance comes in. That's how the enemy can't use that against you, because you're being honest with yourself. You're being honest with God. And then you're in the process of healing. Healing does not happen overnight. It takes time. But you have to want it. And that's something that I want. I want deliverance. I want healing. I don't want the enemy to be able to use anything from my past against me. So I'm going to continue to be honest with myself, to be truthful, to shame the devil. And I'm going to take the month of February to just soak in Christ, have my kids soak into Christ, because he's coming back soon. And there's no time for arguments. There's no time for pettiness. There's no time for fighting. There's no time for drama. There's no time for any of that. Look at the world we're living in. A lot of legislation that was just passed, it's against the Bible. Am I judging him? No. Do I agree with it? No. Do I pray for him? Yes. Do I pray for the high desert where my children are? Yes. Do I pray for where my builders' children are? Yes, I do. That's all I can do is pray and try to prepare myself and my children for God to come. But I have to be in tune with him, and I have to know what he wants Francis to do. I hope that this has been helpful to you guys in some kind of way. I'm still going to have the women's conference, but it's going to be later on this year. I want to see what's going on, how God leads me. My women's conference is not like a regular women's conference. It's a healing conference. I'm not a pastor. I'm not going to step in a lane that I have no business being in. I don't have that type of title. But I have been through things in my life that God has healed me from. The two queens that are going to do this with me have been through things in their life that God has healed them from. So I believe between the three of us, we can accomplish healing. It's a healing conference. It's not no preaching. Sharing of testimony, yes. Sharing of the things that God has done and how he has brought us through, yes. But preaching and laying hands, that's out of my scope of practice, and I'm not going to do something that God has not given me permission to do. Blessings always to everybody. God's Will Ministry is still open. If you guys are in need of anything for the children, anything, please send me a message. My personal cell phone number is all over my social media. But I'm going to take a step back. That way I can come back to you guys, poured into, delivered, healed, with a fresh perspective. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for your time. You guys have a blessed and prosperous evening, blessed and prosperous months. Peace and blessings.